wheelbarrow and bag of salt simulate what it feels like for your horse to have a rider on it that is balanced. If you worked in the horse industry long enough, you've pushed a wheelbarrow or two, so you know what it feels like to have a load not quite in the center or all the way at the end. It makes it really, really hard to push it. So what I'm going to do is simulate what it feels like to carry a nice balanced rider. I don't have any pull on my shoulders. I can stand nice and tall. I don't feel like I'm putting too much weight on my hind end, but I feel very stable. So for this, my arms are going to be my front end and my legs are my hind end. So if I've got my balanced rider, I'm able to walk a straight line, looking forward without really wobbling to one side or the other. And then if I go around in a circle, I can use my body to really carry my rider through a circle without falling on one shoulder versus another. Okay? So if I am a good balanced horse, I'm going to be using all of my weight onto my inside hind leg, which is my left leg right now, and it's going to be crossing over and really carrying my rider through that circle. Okay? So that's a properly balanced rider. Now, if I have a rider even very slightly change their weight, so that would be an unbalanced seat bone, and I go to pick my rider up into a transition, I'm automatically leaning on that shoulder, and my knee kind of hurts because I'm bracing it down into the ground. So walking on a straight line is very hard. I feel like I've got a gimp leg. I'm putting a lot of pressure onto that leg. And then if I start doing a circle, I shuffle my hind end, I turn my toe out, I'm bracing on my hip, and it's very, very hard for me to support myself. Okay? And in that transition down to halt, I wobbled. So if I've got a horse, or a rider rather, that is leaning back on me, so in that canter transition, if they throw their upper body back, and I go to pick them up, my shoulders hurt. This is very, very uncomfortable for me. And I'm leaning forward, and my hind end is kind of sticking out behind me, so I am not using my hind end for engagement, and I have no natural sense of impulsion. In that transition, you can hear the wheelbarrow smash into the ground. Okay? And then vice versa. If I am being a backwards or a forward balance rider, I immediately fall down onto my forehand. And this is very, very easy for me to really fall over. If I were to trip, I'd knock this whole thing over. So if we're working through transitions, this is really, really hard. So I would rather have a nice balanced rider that made my job easy. Okay? All right. Now Susanna's going to come over here and demonstrate this for me. Just walk a straight line and turn and come back towards me on a straight line. Okay, so look up and where you're going for me. Good. So she's able to maintain that balance on a straight line. Do you feel balanced? Yeah. Good. And then when you turn around to me, just keep walking straight. Again, you're able to carry those quarters of your body very evenly. Okay? So I want you to do a circle for me, whichever direction you'd like to. Okay, so I want you to take a look at Suzanne's inside hind leg, which is her right leg now, how it crosses over underneath of her body very slightly. So she's learning to balance herself correctly. Change directions on that circle for me. That's where you're going. Good. So again, she's able to bear that weight onto that inside hind leg. Okay. Transition to halt. Put your wheelbarrow down. Try a circle for me. So she's going to be doing a circle for me. You can go to the left. Okay? So immediately I can see that she's leaning on that shoulder of her body. Do you feel uncomfortable?
Yes.
Okay, change directions for me with that. You had to really compensate with your upper body to get that turn to come through, and it came very wide. Okay. You can come on over here and we'll change the balance of that bag. Now every horse is going to feel more comfortable balancing one direction or another. They are all right-handed versus left-handed, and our job is to make them balanced. So what we have to do is first be balanced riders ourselves. So try that for me. So she had to really wobble up into that transition, and she had to stabilize all of her body by wiggling everything. So just make a circle for me. Now, if you look at her position, her hands came behind her so that she could support herself with her shoulders. She's really not engaging her hind end. She's got very, very short strided steps. As you can feel, it's hard for you to bear that weight on your inside hind leg, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Transition to halt for me. All right. Try that. So a little bit more of a wobble transition, and we haven't even taken steps. So take a circle for me. There's that leaning forward upper body. So now we've got a little bit of a longer stride. However, we're still not engaging our hind end. So here she feels more comfortable leaving her hind end out from behind herself. We're not really getting that collection that you're really seeking in dressage. Transition from halt to halt. Just place that down for me. So a question for you, which felt more comfortable? Just all down on a balanced rider. So if we're talking about a horse, that's where we get those muscular inconsistencies. So we'll get knots and we'll get strained muscles and that kind of thing because they learn to compensate for us. They are beautifully wonderful creatures that compensate for unbalanced riders. So we have to, through biomechanics, work on ourselves so that we don't harm them in the long run.